to do a quick discussion today before I go to the gym. Just something I've been seeing, and I've been liking the comments of this post that he put, just replying to people, whatever like that. Um, and some people, I'm not gonna say some people disagree with me, but some people kind of feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had. And I kind of just I don't want to keep on like spamming the comments and just keep on, long paragraphs or whatever like that. So I'm kind of just going to kind of get my thoughts off, maybe re-elaborate on some of the things I'm saying in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Just to have the conversation or whatever like that. Um, but yeah, it's a post he put yesterday, and I was like, why? First of all, my initial thought, because like my mindset doesn't come from like when Doechii said straight men is my red flag. I didn't take offense to that. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's her preference. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes there's certain conversations, and it's been talked about numerous times by different people. Like FD talks about it. I think Lil Bill talks about it. Certain people talk about it where when it comes to uh certain issues with society or certain issues just in general, the black man is always the scapegoat and always the one that gets their fingers pointed at for why for when the question is brought up, why are black men so violent? Why are black men this? Why are black men that? And it's just like, this is the American culture. This is what men do in general, but it's always us that kind of get targeted as the scapegoat. Even when it comes to politics, black men are voting Republican in droves. No, they're not. But we'll always use and put in these most extreme scenarios to get people to look at us like something's wrong with us. You understand what I'm saying? Now you get the people that could look at themselves as allies, looking at black men like, hey, we came to you guys' side and you guys turn on the, like, just this type of thing, to where it's always hyper focusing on black men in negative situations or situations that can be deemed negative by some people. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just always a weird thing. I commented, I'm gonna read my comment, but I basically was like, bro, we just be minding our business. Literally, when you talk, most black men, for the most part, as a black man, we be minding our business. We don't try to involve ourselves too much in other people's stuff because other people don't involve themselves in our stuff. So we're going to do what we're going to do, and it's just going to be that. But then all of a sudden, people jump into our shit because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black men of the millions and millions of black men did some stupid shit, and now they're like, why are black men always doing this? Black men always doing that. Black men, and it's just like, bro, what the fuck? What'd you say fuck me for? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, this is the post that FD posted where he was saying, so somehow, why aren't black men going to college became a trending topic while I was touring the college. First of all, before I finish this, that statement in general implies that black men as a whole don't go to college. And that is not true. That's why certain things is just like, they don't never, when discussions are being had, it's never some thing. People just avoid saying some or a certain percentage or this and that. They just always lump black men into a box all to themselves and say, boom, this is what it is. And it's never that. Never that. People in general are complex, different personalities, different decisions, different this, different that. We have different reasons for the choices we make in our lives. That's how everyone is. But for some reason, when it comes to the black man, we are never looked at as y'all are individual people with your own individual choices, your individual decisions, this and that. It's always black men as a whole. We're always spoken in as a whole. And I just don't, it makes no sense to me. But anyways, why aren't black men going to college became a trending topic while I was touring the colonizer homeland. I just caught on to that. C-Trick knowingly knew I was on vacation. I'm pretty sure this was a Twitter debate. This is exactly why I deleted Twitter, because I always just seen conversations where it's just like, why? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's draining to constantly see stupid shit all the time. So I just deleted Twitter. I deleted Threads. I only really get on Instagram because it's just, motivational stuff. It's just less of that, even though I will see some things. So I'm just like, all right, bro. But most of the time I could just hide it, not interested, whatever. But Twitter, it's like you can say, hey, I don't want to see this shit. And Twitter's still going to be like, nah, you're going to see it. Like, I don't know what's going on over there. I'll get to this and other nonsense when I get back, but I almost feel like I shouldn't have to say it. yeah, I'm gonna really check out. We're gonna probably react if he puts a video out. I don't know if that means he's gonna put a video out. But if he puts a video out, then we could react to the video, whatever like that. But I just wanted to reply to like some of the comments. I'm gonna read what I put first. But I'm gonna reply to some of the comments. I think I only put one comment and then kind of reply to people that replied to me. I think that's what happened. If you see me in the comments on some random shit, because I've been doing that, that's kind of what I do when I'm not working, when I'm not making music, when I'm not, doing whatever. I'm gonna just be in some comments. I know some people be like, oh, you always comment and you always da, 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 da. I just like conversations. I like learning. I like to see what people feel, what people think. Of course, a lot of the people on the internet aren't real people. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes the conversation to have, sometimes I want to bring a different perspective on a certain situation, something that maybe I haven't, because the thing is, a lot of people on the internet, despite what it looks like, a lot of people on the internet don't talk. A lot of people on the internet kind of express how they feel through likes. You understand what I'm saying? So even if they don't say that they agree, them liking, even though liking doesn't always mean they agree, that's how some people speak through the internet, is through likes. They don't comment. I prefer to comment because a lot of the times the comments don't say shit about what is the real issue. But then too, I think I saw this yesterday. Instagram and Twitter kind of make it to where the bullshit comments are the ones that'll be at the top, and then the comments that are a little bit more educated, well thought out, whatever, will be the ones at the bottom, because they kind of want you to engage the most with the post, and the comments with the bullshit on there is the ones people want to engage with the most. But anyways, this is what I commented. I said, why are we always, is it on full? Okay, why are we always handpicked out in these extreme scenarios? I put the crying emoji because I'm sick of this shit. We just be chilling. From what I've seen in general, less and less people are going to college over time, and the main reason is the cost. And in certain fields, a trade school is the better, more affordable, and lucrative option. A lot of people in general spend $70,000 to get a degree just to graduate, making $40K a year. It ain't a black man thing. Like always, it's a money thing. Black men and people in general also just so happen to be some of the biggest victims of the wealth gap in America. So if you do the math, it's just America being America. And I also wanted to talk on this point too. What's it called? Tuition for colleges has increased rapidly over the past 25 to 30 years. You understand what I'm saying? However much it will cost you to go to college in the 90s, it probably costs us double that today. Right? Keep that in mind. Minimum wage has not changed in America since 1998. So the wages of people, how much money people make, hasn't changed that much in general in America in 30 plus years. Yet how much it costs us to go to college has. So the reason why in general, and like I talk about it in the comments a little bit, but in general, people don't really things haven't changed as far as what is 16. You're in Washington, bro. In Washington. What are you talking about? In Washington, I'm saying in America, the federal minimum wage is $7.25. It's been the exact same since 1998. Minimum wage does not change every year. What are you talking about? Look it up, bro. Minimum wage is $7.25. It's been $7.25 since 1998. It has not changed at all. The federal minimum wage does not change at all. Individual states can change the minimum wage if they want to, but minimum you can't pay less than $7.25, depending on your job, because some waitresses or whatever get $2.15. You understand what I'm saying? You crazy, bro. I live in America, bro. I live in a state where the minimum wage is $7.25. I live in a state where the minimum wage is $7.25. My first job, I was getting paid $7.25. Like, what are you talking about? Anyways, $16.69 still isn't a livable wage in 2025. You still will be considered lower class person. You understand what I'm saying? But what I was saying before you just started blabbing bullshit is the wage tuitions around colleges or whatever that has been growing rapidly over time for a long period of time. Meanwhile, minimum wage has been the exact same since 1998. Even if your specific state, one of 50 plus states, pays more than $7.25, the federal minimum wage is $7.25. Do you even answer? What are we talking? I'm telling you what we're talking about. Y'all are crazy, bro. I'm literally telling you what we're talking about, and you're cutting me off to ask what are we talking about. Anyways, Yeah, so people aren't the amount of money people are getting paid is not keeping up with how much it costs to live, how much rent is, how much it is to buy a house, how much it is to go to college. All these things are not keeping up with how much people are getting paid. You understand what I'm saying? So that's another reason why less people are going to college, because less people are being able to afford to go to college. Back then, a college tuition may have been $15,000, $20,000. Now people are spending hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s to go to college. You understand what I'm saying? But people aren't going, when they graduate, they're not making hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s when they get out of college. Y'all keep interrupting me mid conversation to ask me what am I talking about. Just listen to what the fuck I'm saying. God damn, that's so annoying. Um, but yeah, the conversation. And I'm gonna say this one time because I keep explaining it just for somebody to keep coming in and saying, "What are we talking about?" The conversation that was happening somewhere on the internet was that why aren't black men going to college, which is not true at all. Everybody goes, well, I'm gonna say everybody goes to college. Everybody from it, there's a group of people from every race, every walk of life that has gone to college, may graduate college or whatever like that. But what I'm trying to say is people aren't making enough money in general to be able to afford a whole amount of them to be going to college. People are being underpaid still. People are being overcharged still. And college is one of those places where people are being overcharged. People aren't making enough money after college to even pay for their student loans, which is why some people die with student loan debt. You know what I'm saying? People, my mom, I think maybe just recently finished paying off her student loans like years ago. I'm almost 30 years old. I think my mom went to college maybe when I was young to a little bit before. Like it's just different. But anyways, I wanted to respond to someone said it's misandro. Why I can't pronounce that word, but basically saying black women is leading the charge of this conversation and this and that. And I do want to say I can understand. The thing is when we come with these ideas and these narratives of, oh, it's the black women coming after us or whatever like that. A lot of the time we're speaking from very small bite sizes of the conversation being had. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of time we'll read 4 or 5 comments and be like, oh, this is all black women. Only black women having this conversation. They're trying to tear black women down. And that's not always true. A lot of, I think the statistic was 2/3 of the internet are bots. So a lot of conversations, a lot of talking points, a lot of comments and things, maybe not real people that are could be bots that are created to push certain ideas, certain agendas, and create certain discussions that are just there to create more engagement, more traffic, more this, more that. That's going to put more money into these advertisers and these platform creators' pockets. That's all they care about, is what is going to get people on my platform longer. So when we having these discussions about this and that, and black women versus black men, and Republicans versus them, all these conversations is just there to make sure you stay on the platform as long as possible so we can advertise to you as much as possible so we can make as much money as possible. They don't care what side of the argument you're on. They don't care who's being hurt, who's being offended. It's about you just being on the platform. That's all that really matters. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, the misandry, whatever like that, like I get where you're coming from, but I can't say that the entire conversation is based on misandry. It's a lot of it is based on, like I said, this obsession with hyper focusing on a certain group of people doing a certain thing that is a general thing. In general, statistics show in general, people are going to college less and less because for a lot of people it's not affordable. For a lot of people, they can't. They are pushed into work, and a lot of people jump in the workforce. I started working in high school. A lot of people jump in the workforce before they even graduate. So once they get in there, a lot of them just stay in there. Maybe they go to college and then use work to pay for college. But then now you're mixing up the stress of work, having a full-time or part-time job, dealing with college and having essays and homework and all these things to do. A lot of people get stressed out. A lot of people drop out because of that stress. Like, I've known several people in my lives that will have didn't have anxiety, didn't have no real mental issues before they went to college. They wound up dropping out because the stress of college and the stress of work took so much of a toll on them they couldn't handle it no more. I've known people that have who delved into start doing drugs, clean cut, honor student, all that. Once they got to college, so much of that stress, so much of that stressed them out so much that they started getting into heavy drugs. I'm not saying that's a common thing. I'm not saying, but that is something that does happen to a lot of people going to college. So some people get scared of college because I seen this person go through this. I seen this person go through that. There's multiple reasons why less and less people are going to college. It isn't just a black man thing. It's a common thing, and it relates to the mental health crisis that everybody consistently ignores. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of reasons as to why people don't go to college, and we can't just think that the solution to our problems in America will be solved by going to college when college is a part of some of the problems that we're dealing with in America. You understand what I'm saying? And then imagine you go to a school that's maybe underfunded, maybe don't have the best criteria, the best curriculum, whatever like that. But you graduated. You did good in those schools, even though the education may not have been on par with the education in other places. Now you get put into college and now you're like a fish out of water. You don't know nothing that's being talked about because you wasn't taught that in school, because you just happen to come from a community that wasn't teaching you these things. Now you feel just even more stressed. You're like, oh, I have to play catch up with all these people that are coming from all these different backgrounds that maybe I thought I was the smartest in my school, and all of a sudden I find people that are just substantially way more smarter than me because they were gifted with being in schools that had better curriculum and this and that going on. There's multiple. It's a very complex conversation. It isn't just black men are deciding not to go to college, and that's what's the issue with the black community. Like, what the fuck? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Another comment, someone said, Ray for Prez, shout out to her. She said, I saw this discourse on Twitter amongst black people, and we're usually never considering other races when discussing issues in a community, even if it affects other groups. And that's an issue. That is an issue. We shouldn't, when we're having these discussions, I understand that we should be focused on trying to better our communities or whatever like that, but we shouldn't always hyper focus on issues in our community as if it's only an issue in our community. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you realize that it's an issue bigger than us, then we'll understand this is a systemic issue. You understand what I'm saying? If we keep saying, oh, this is in our community, our community, our community, our community, yeah, that is important. But when you do that too much, you ignore the fact that we don't have true control over our community as we want to believe. You understand what I'm saying? And like, so when we're talking about, oh, why aren't black men going to college? Why aren't black men going to college? Why aren't more black men going to college? When we keep saying that and keeping it to black men, black men, black men, what you're doing is you're pointing the fingers at black men are choosing not to go to college, and that's why they're not as successful, and that's why this is happening, and that happened. It's all because of black men. And it's just like, no, you got to realize the systems that colleges are based around are based a lot on finance. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people aren't able to get those loans, or a lot of people aren't willing to get those loans. They may not be in a position to pay for tuition every year. They may not, you know what I'm saying? There's so many different factors. They may not apply, they may have done good in school, but not good enough to qualify for a scholarship that can get them all the way through school. You understand what I'm saying? There's multiple situations that can occur more than just black men choose not to go to college. And also brought up too, I'm gonna try and read it, but I'm gonna try and elaborate on it too. I also brought up too, just from me growing up, it isn't really pushed as hard on black men to go to college as much as it is pushed on black men to get a good job. You understand what I'm saying? Because when it comes down to why you want me to go to college, it's because you want me to get a good job. You want me to get something that pays good, because at the end of the day, the end goal is to work. It isn't really based on education. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when it comes in, like, I'm not speaking in facts. I'm not speaking in you know what I'm saying, in certainty. I'm just saying how it felt when the discussions were had when it comes to how college is sold to I'm gonna say black women, sold to women versus sold to men. A lot of the times it's sold to men for you need to get a good paying job versus them where it's you need a good education. You understand what I'm saying? You need to be smart. You need to be this. You need to be that to get further. You know what I'm saying? I don't think intelligence is sold as much to us as it is to them. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, I could be wrong, but that's just something I feel like getting a job before you get to college is a common thing. I know girls that do the same thing, but just the work, getting in the field, being an electrician, being this, being that, trash man, this and that, like all these different jobs, hard labor jobs is what is being a construction worker. All these hard labor jobs are what's pushed a lot more on men, and those jobs don't require college education as much. Meanwhile, like I said, a lot of people like to talk about, the rise of successful women and this and that. College education and being smart and being, intelligent. These things are a lot more pushed for them as far as I don't know exactly the root of it, but it's just something I know. It even goes back. I said in the comments, it goes back to the girls are smarter than boys. Girls are this and that than boys. You know what I'm saying? It's always pushed in our brain that no matter how smart you are as a man, you'll never be as smart as a woman. And I think because of that, we don't focus on being smart. Even being a smart man, you get bullied sometimes for that. You know what I'm saying? That's where the whole, like, of course, girls get bullied for nerds, but a lot of the times when you're a smart man, you're looked down upon for being, oh, you're a nerd, you're a geek, you're this and that. Oh, you like, you know what I'm saying? Those things aren't as, meanwhile, being a smart woman is a little bit more acceptable, a little bit more, not saying that women don't get bullied for being smart, but I feel like it is more of a common thing amongst men of being the smart guy is, I don't know, bad for some apparent reason. So I think that also goes into, it's just not cool to be that. And a lot of people care about being cool for some apparent reason. But what we said, he was talking about underfunding HBCUs and all that. Yeah. I told her about, like, you know, you don't want to keep on focusing on the result. And I say this all the time. People like to focus on the results of an issue and not the issue itself. So this is another example of that. People like to focus on black men aren't going to college, black men are going to college, black men aren't going to college, black men aren't going to college. Not addressing why black men aren't going to college. You understand what I'm saying? Where we at? Right here I put, also I wanted to add, I personally don't think people not going to college is a bad thing. To have this conversation seriously, you will have to believe the end all be all of success is a college education. And I don't think that's true. We live in a world now where you can succeed in life by studying how-to videos on YouTube to master a craft and build a career through that. We have multimillionaire YouTubers, streamers, influencers, brand ambassadors, so many avenues to change your future for the better available now without putting yourself in a student loan debt. Questioning why more people don't go to college, I feel, is disconnecting yourself from the reality that college isn't a necessity anymore, and the results of college now leans more on the experience more than a better sustainable career, because that isn't guaranteed. The question shouldn't be why aren't men going to college as much anymore. It should be why our colleges no longer working anymore. And that kind of summarizes kind of what my entire point is, that we're looking at people that are rich off of, like, people are getting pulled up out the hood and becoming multimillionaires. We got people that don't go to school for audio engineering, become successful engineers in music. You understand what I'm saying? We're looking at YouTubers that just made videos consistently throughout high school. And, like, we're looking at a Mr. Beast who maybe he went to college, I don't know, but his career isn't based on him going to college. His career is based off of learning algorithm and learning how to edit and learning this and learning that and coming up with good concepts or whatever like that. We are looking at billionaires, multimillionaires, people just that figure something out through reading, through watching videos on YouTube and you understand what I'm like that, and being able to build a foundation, build an empire off of those things, and are making a lot more, extravagantly a lot more money than some people that went to college for 4 years. You understand what I'm saying? We got people in real estate. You don't have to go to college to be a real estate agent. You know what I'm saying? We've got people that are big into stocks. You don't have to go to college to be big into stocks. You can go on YouTube, you can read books, you can, like, there's so many other ways for you to gain an education without going to college now more than ever. So because of that, it's no wonder why people don't go to college. You understand what I'm saying? People are able to you're able to create multi-million-dollar businesses from your house. You are able, if you have a talent in like, I know people that are good with what's the shit called? Fashion design? I don't know what it's called. Making shirts and not like physically making shirts, semen shit. Like I can't think of what the word is. But people develop skills and now are able to monetize those skills from their house without a college education. That is the world we're living in right now. So what is the point of going to college for 4 years? In 4 years, someone can learn how to whatever the fuck the shit's called. Learn how to make shirts, make pants, make shoes, be able to get their LLC, put up a Shopify or whatever like that, market themselves, whatever, in those 4 years, and be able to make a living off of that without going to college. And then the person that comes out of college now has to start a career at $40,000 a year. Meanwhile, this person is making that exact same amount of money and ain't step foot on a campus. Understand what I'm saying? It's not a necessity anymore. So this argument of why aren't black men going to college, or why aren't men in general going to college? Because that's another one people say, is men in general not going to college? Yeah, but there's a reason for that, because college is a necessity no more. You don't have to succeed. You don't need college to succeed. If you find something you're passionate about, you invest the time and the money into it. Not saying you're guaranteed to be a success, but you will have what's the word? A head start on someone that may have spent a lot of their time in college, in the books, or whatever like that. And like I said, I don't think going to college is a bad thing, but I also don't think not going to college is a bad thing. And that's why I said this conversation of why aren't black men, or why aren't men in general going to college, you would have to ignore the fact that college isn't necessary anymore. This isn't the 1970s. This isn't the 1980s. This isn't the 1960s where college was necessary. It isn't anymore. We have to move past that and realize we're in 2025, where you can become a millionaire from your bedroom. We see it happen all the time. People are making thousands of dollars. Hey, I'm about to go to the mall. Come follow me on my trip. Take their camera and you just sit there, watch them walk around the city, walk around the mall for 20, 30 minutes, and they just made every dollar that they spent at the mall back like that. You understand what I'm saying? It's just so much easier. There's so much other ways to succeed now that college, I'm not saying it's water. College, I'm not saying it's what's the word? Obsolete is the word. Just irrelevant, but it's not the only avenue. You understand what I'm saying? You need college to succeed. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because success is what's the word? Subjective to the person. It's subjective to every person. You understand what I'm saying? If somebody wants to be like, if you want to be a rapper, you don't need to go to college to be a rapper. If you want to be a singer, you don't need to go to college to be a singer. If you want to be a producer, you don't need to go to college to be a producer. If you want to be a movie actor, you don't need to go to college. There are schools specifically made for acting. You understand what I'm saying? You can go to an acting school and you can become an actor. If you want to be a plumber, people always talk about how much money plumbers make. You don't have to go to college to be a plumber. If you want to be an engineer, like there are specific, that's what trade schools are. College, when we're talking college, when we're talking universities, we're talking about 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. There are multiple industries where you can go to a school for 6 months to a year, get everything you need, and become a high earner in whatever field that is. There are, like I said, there are multiple avenues to success, and success is subjective to the person. You can't tell somebody what success is to them. If they feel making $100,000 a year is successful to them, that's for them to decide, because only they know what they want from life. You understand what I'm saying? If somebody feels success is $1 million a year, that's up to them. You can't keep saying success isn't a blanket slate. Success ain't the same for everybody, because everyone has different personalities and want different things out of life. And college isn't going to provide those things for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot more people are realizing that. Hey, I could go on to some people are making a living off of TikTok. I don't be on TikTok, but I'm gonna hop on TikTok live every few days and get these donations and make a living off of that, off of just kicking shits on TikTok. What I'm doing right now, there are people that make a living off of just getting on Instagram and just talking and getting their donations and stuff like that. I watch YouTubers that do that, or Twitch streamers. Kxng Anon. I don't know if Kxng Anon went to college. Do you know if Kxng Anon went to college? Do you know which IShowSpeed? IShowSpeed is traveling the world right now. Millions and millions of followers. Do you know if IShowSpeed went to college? I don't know. I don't know if Mr. Beast went to college, because going to college isn't the basis of what they're successful for. They're successful for who they are as a people. They found something that worked and they kept working at it. So why does going to college have to be a necessity now? Why is going to college going to make you successful? I know a lot of people that went to college that are in the same space as me. Exact same space, if not worse. They have people going to college. They get out. I went to school for culinary. You working at a regular restaurant with somebody that worked for 4 years. You went to college for 4 years. We're at the same place, same starting place. You make the same amount of money as I. That's a common thing amongst multiple fields throughout the I want to say throughout the world, but in America now, where there can be one person that got to a certain position by just jumping into the industry and working hard for a few years, and there's another person that comes straight out of college and maybe right up under them. That's just how it is. But where we at? She replied back. She said, She saw some fair, honest, and balanced viewpoints, which I would love to figure out what those fair, honest, and balanced viewpoints were, because I don't see nothing that's fair about targeting a specific group of people for something. And that's kind of what I said. I say anytime you target a select group of people out for something happening in general, there is no fairness or balance in that conversation, because you're isolating it to only one group of people. I say I don't think college exists to save the black community in any way, shape, or form. A lot of us can't afford college, and like I mentioned before, it is pushed a lot. And that's another thing. People can't afford college. People can't get the scholarships, and a lot of scholarships that were designed to help people that can't afford to go to college or may not be able to get a scholarship. A lot of those scholarships are gone now. They're gone. They don't exist anymore. Just boop, just like that. All those scholarships, all those programs that were meant to help people from lower income communities are gone now. So it's now especially now more than ever, we're in a space where if you don't got the money to go to college, you can't go to college. That's just how it is. Where we at? And like a lot of people also, I talked about how some people may come from single parent households. It's going to be a lot to put the stress of paying for tuition on your mom alone. A lot of people look at that, especially men, because it is pushed on us as men to be the head of the household, to be the responsible one, to be the provider, and this and that. A lot of men, because of that being pushed on us, we look at it and we're just like, I can't leave mom over here working 2-3 jobs to put me through college. I'm gonna go work myself. Fuck that college shit, because I need to make it easier on my mom. Or even, mom, don't get another job. I'm going to work and I'm going to go to college. And then that goes back to men putting stress on themselves. Now you're stressed out. Now you have anxiety. Now you have paranoia. Now you have a sleep apnea. Now you have all these other issues going on because you're overworking yourself to try and push yourself to college. A lot of people look at that and are like, I'm good. You understand what I'm saying? And nothing is wrong with that. And that kind of the bigger issue that I keep trying to like drive home is, hey, if people don't want to go to college, it's okay. It is okay, because it's not the end all be all. And once again, success is subjective to that person. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be like, oh man, why you didn't go to college? Because I didn't like me. I was supposed to go to college for culinary arts and business. That was why I was supposed to go to college. But it was just a whole lot of stress, and I personally felt that just wasn't the route for me. That's just how I felt personally. I was like, I still wound up working in restaurants, having, manager positions in restaurants. I still wound up having businesses. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the things that I was going to college for, at a certain point, I realized I can just do it and not have to deal with a whole lot of debt, have to deal with this and have to deal with that. I can get a head start. I can focus and learn on other things and not hyper focus on these one little things. You understand what I'm saying? It just depends on the person, and that's okay. It should be an option, and that's the thing is we're trying to paint it as like an option. I mean, not being an option. Oh, it's something you have to. I think we all should have the free will to decide whether or not we think our future should be determined by going to college or not going to college. It shouldn't be this big debate. It shouldn't be this big argument, this discourse, because it's subjective on the person. If that's how the person wants to live, if they see a better route for them, then let them do that. We want to just question people's routes and not just supporting their routes. You want to question why somebody's taking a certain path in their life, even if it's not a bad path. I could see if somebody was doped up on the corner on drugs, and you're like, damn man, you could have did better. But if somebody's living their life, living their regular life, enjoying life, or enjoying as much of life as they can, then you shouldn't go up to them and be like, man, why you didn't go to college? Now, if you question that, and that's the thing, if you question yourself, I should have went to college, you always have the opportunity to go to college. That's the thing. There are always grown people in their 30s and 40s being like, you know what, I'm going to go to college and get my degree. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? As long as you're alive after you graduate high school, there is never not a chance for you to go to college. But people want you to leave high school and go immediately to college. And some people don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Like, I spent 12, 14, 15 years in this school system, and I did not like that shit. And you want me to spend another 4 years and owe them money afterwards? Boy, you got me fucked up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you just have to, it just depends on the person. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm interested to see, I just want to address these things and talk about these things. This was the final thing that I put, where she was saying, multiple viewpoints or whatever like that. But I kind of ended it just saying, I just think of all the issues that, because you know, a lot of things. She kept saying we got to be held accountable for what's going on in our community. I don't think college education or no college education is the biggest issue with the black community. I don't think people going to college and people not going to college is the biggest issue with the black community. If anything, that contributes to some of the problems going on in the black community. You understand what I'm saying? Because there are those people that go to college and believe that now that I am I can't talk. Now that I am college educated, I no longer need to associate myself with you other blacks. I am higher than you other blacks. I am not going to associate myself with y'all because y'all are over there and I'm over here because I went to college. Even if you ain't making no fucking money for real, you just think, oh well, I went to college, so I am better than you, and that's all it's going to be. And that's one of the biggest issues. Like, because she's saying we got to be held accountable for what's going on in our community, and I'm just saying what's going on in our community is kind of based on college and the elitism that exists. There's a lot of situations where people will go to college. Very few, because we like to believe, oh, you're not successful until you go to college. The amount of people that become successes after college is very small. It's a small percentage. People will go to college for 4 years and get a regular job just like you and me. Go to college for 4 years and be a teacher, and we all know teachers are underpaid. You know what I'm saying? The amount of people that go to college and become multimillionaires, CEOs, this and that, there's a reason why they're called the 1% of the population. Because it's a small percent of the population. You understand what I'm saying? If just throwing a number out there, 50% of the American population goes to college, 49% of them have to live paycheck to paycheck afterwards. 49% of them have to work a regular day job or multiple jobs to make a living. You understand what I'm saying? College just doesn't just pull you away from the struggles of life. It doesn't. You understand what I'm saying? You're still going to struggle. You're still going to live paycheck to paycheck, because whether you go to college or not, the economy is going to be the economy. Prices are going to go up. Things are going to be more expensive. That's just how the world is. You understand what I'm saying? And that's kind of something that we've been taught. We've been taught to believe that. Oh, you went to college, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. Once again, they're called the 1% for a reason. The 1% only encapsulates what? Millionaires and billionaires, right? Or people that make above a certain amount. I'm about to look it up right now. But people that make only, what is the 1%? Let me see. What? God damn. What is the 1%? No, dumbass. What is it? All right. So the 1% is people that make minimum, by comparison, the median household income in the U.S. in 2020 was $80,000, according to data, blah, 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 blah. So the 1% are people that make minimum $780,000 a year. That's why they're called the 1%. So that means that if 50% of Americans went to college, 49% of them won't make over $500,000 a year. 1%. Yet people are spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on degrees. You understand what I'm saying? But what was I saying? I just want to bring that up. A lot of people will develop an ego, develop a holier than thou or I'm better than you mentality just because they went to college. And when that exists in the black community, it holds it down the black community. You understand what I'm saying? There are situations, I remember FD Signify talking about this in the video, where they say it's common in Atlanta where someone will go to college, someone will become successful, someone will get a high position, and instead of grabbing other black people from certain communities and being like, hey, I'll take you under my wing, I'm gonna be a mentor and I'm gonna make sure that you become a success, and you can spread that down. A lot of the times it becomes a little boys club or whatever that shit's called. It becomes a club of, oh, you went to what college? Oh, I went to that college too. I got you. Oh, you went to what college? I went to that college too. I got you. You was a part of what fraternity? Oh, I was a part of that fraternity too. I got you. It becomes I'm only helping the people that are just like me. And not just like me, but a college educated part of a fraternity thing. And when you do that, you're isolating a huge population of black people because you only represent a small population of black people. So the issue isn't, oh, we got to be held accountable in our community for black men not going to college. We got to be held accountable that the black men that go to college and become success don't help the other men that didn't have the opportunity to go to college. Everybody, we gotta remember too. You have to be accepted into college. You have to be accepted. It's an application. You can't just go to college. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go to college. You have to have a certain GPA. You have to have a certain this, a certain that. You have to file all these paperwork and this and that to be accepted to a college. It's not as easy as just going to college. So just having this, oh, why aren't black men going to college? Well, maybe black men weren't accepted into a college. Ever thought about that? Maybe they couldn't afford to go to a college. Ever thought about that? Like, there's so many different factors that goes into this conversation, more than, like, we keep talking about it as if it's, I can just get up and go. You can't just get up and go. College isn't free. This isn't the UK. You understand what I'm saying? It's an application process. You have to apply. You have to be accepted to go. If you're not accepted to go, then what do you want people to do? And then we have people that dropped out of high school. A lot of colleges ain't gonna accept you if you don't got a high school diploma. You understand what I'm saying? People that got into the workforce early and, you know, just became so hunkered up into the day-to-day of working, and fuck it, I'm making money right now. I don't need to go to college to make money later. Like, there's so many different factors that goes into this, and people are just ignoring it to just isolate into this one single scenario, and then they throw that one single scenario only on black men. And it's weird. You understand what I'm saying? But anyways, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm about to get ready to go to the gym. I just wanted to talk about this. Like I said, I didn't want to be in the comments the whole time and just keep, you know, doing whatever. But in closing, this is all I got to say. If you have a goal in life, follow it. Don't let someone tell you how to reach that goal unless they themselves have proven that a certain way works. You know what I'm saying? That's why we need mentors in the community. It's not about going to college. College ain't gonna change a black man's future. It really isn't. We need people. We need more mentor, and of course, those people got taken out of the community. But we do need more mentors. Even people like my age. I try and do that, but people are just trolls all the time and be in the comments talking about, what are you talking about? What are we talking about? What are you talking about? Need more people to kind of like reach down to young people and be like, hey man, if you want to do this, we need to allow people. What am I trying to say? We need to let people know that you have options. That's the biggest thing. We don't let people know they have options. When it comes to our community, we just tell them basketball, football, or rap. Not always, but that's just the thing. We don't tell them, hey, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor. Like, in the I don't know if it's true, but just from what I see in movies or what I see in I know a little bit, but from what I see in other medias, the Spanish woman isn't afraid to tell her Spanish son, you gonna be a doctor, you gonna be a lawyer. An Asian woman ain't afraid to tell her son, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be a lawyer. But for some reason in the black community, we don't really tell each other that. We don't really say, go to college and be a doctor. Sometimes it's just go to college. They don't care what you do as long as you go. Or you're an athlete, go to college. If you play football, go to college. You play basketball, go to college. Or if you're a rapper, hey, go be a rapper, go do music. That's your thing. We don't push each other to be greater. But we also don't tell each other we have options. That's the biggest thing. We always take options off the table. We always feel like there's only one way to do something. And that's not how life works. It's not. We have options. You can choose to go to college and be and potentially be a success, or you can have the same potential by not going to college. You understand what I'm saying? We can't just keep on isolating certain things to certain people. We can't keep just trying to shut off everybody's options to certain things. We just can't keep doing these things because you think, oh, I'm telling men to go to college because it's better for our community. Or you can tell a man, hey, whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do, I'm going to support that. You know how much that would help the community? Have you ever thought about that? How much just sitting a young black boy down and being like, yo, whatever you want to be, no matter what anybody has to say about it, whatever you want to be, I'm going to support that. That can change someone's entire life. That can change someone's entire perspective. That can change their entire way that they approach the world. But we're afraid to tell black boys that. We're afraid to tell black boys, Whatever you want to be, I'm going to support it. We only tell them, oh, you good at basketball, you should play basketball. Oh, you good at football, you should play football. Oh, you smart, you should go to college. What if he doesn't want to do any of those things? Now he's a failure? And it comes down to that. We need to tell each other, whatever you want to be, whoever you want to be, you're going to do that. And I'm going to support that. That's what we need. We don't need college degrees. We need support. Support for each other, and not selective support. That's another thing. Selective support. I'm only going to support you if you're doing what I want you to do. We need support across the board. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to be a YouTuber, I will support you being. You know how many white YouTubers I done seen that was like, yeah, shout out to my mom, she bought my first computer so I can start making YouTube videos. Shout out to my mom, she bought my first capture card so I can start doing my Let's Plays. Shout out to my mom, she did this and that. Shout out to my dad, he did this and that to make sure that I did this and that. You know how many times I've seen those stories happen? And not saying that never happens in black families. But I see it a lot from non-black YouTubers, non-black streamers, non-black this and that. Where it's like, I wanted to be this and my mom was like, hey, I want you to do this, but if this is what makes you happy, I'm going to do that. And that's what we need more of. We need more of, okay, I'm not going to hold you down to what I want you to be because I see that there's something else you want to do. So whatever you need to achieve that goal, I'm there for you to do it. You want to be a rapper, I'm going to buy the equipment. You want to be a videographer, I'm buying you cameras. You want to be a photographer, I'm buying you cameras. You want to do movies, I'm buying you editing software and this and that. I'm doing whatever I can to support your dream. You understand what I'm saying? Because that same money that she spends on putting you through college over 4 years, she can spend that exact same amount of money to give you what you need to really do what you want to do. And you can't succeed that way. You understand what I'm saying? But that's it for me. Let me get out. I'm going to post this. I'm going to make this a regular post. Just a little rant, just a little talk. You understand? Shout out to FD Signifier. If he puts out a video about the black boy in college thing, I'm going to react to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm interested to see what he says. But that's just my thoughts on it. That's just my opinion on it because, you know, I just feel like it's a weird conversation. It's another conversation that just gets created out the blue just to kind of create division and hyper focus on what black men are doing and what other people and what they're not doing. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, we have this obsession of not letting people do what makes them happy. And you need to do what I want you to do. And I just don't understand that. I just don't understand that. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not hurting anybody, that's my mindset. If you're not hurting anybody, if you're causing no harm to anybody, if all you're doing is doing what makes you happy and nobody is being hurt in that process, then do that. Who cares what someone got to say? Who cares if it's cool or not? I go on YouTube and I just ramble on about whatever the fuck I want to ramble on about. I make clips and I post it on my Instagram. I post it on YouTube Shorts. That's what I want to do. You understand what I'm saying? And I get people. Actually, recently, a few days ago, someone called me and was like, bro, you be dropping gems. Keep doing what you're doing. I fuck with what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're real smart. You put people on game. You know what I'm saying? People see that. They may not always come in the comments and say something. Comments only just seems to exist for the places for people to say bullshit. But people going to see you. Everybody's not going to support you, but everybody's going to see you. You're going to make sure of that. Understand? But that's it for me. I'm out. Too sweet. Deuces. We about 50 minutes on that bitch.